Welcome to another episode of the 3.2.1, 3 questions, 2 members, and 1 association insurance podcast. We're your hosts, Craig Bender.
Ashley.
And today we have the pleasure of interviewing Scott Hobson, AVP of Government Relations of the Big I. How are you, Scott?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Fully caffeinated, ready to go.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I love, I'm a new father. I say new, it's been a year. My son just turned 1 last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It literally feels like yesterday. It's crazy. He has kind of kept me sane and grounded through the past year. It just has been a total joy and a learning experience. So like these days, that's a lot of who I am and what I do is being a dad, which I absolutely love. About me, I live in Albany. I went to college in Albany, grew up in Syracuse, New York. Been married for, I should know this exactly, but like almost a decade now, give or take. Happily, of course. Let's see what else. I love to travel. I love to be outdoors. I love to bike. I love to ski. I love to hike. I like, really, I consider myself an enthusiast of all activities and sports that are disorganized. I never really got into organized sports, never really had a deep passion for following a bunch of rules and doing stuff, a certain way. So I really like sort of the free form activities where you can just get out and do whatever the heck you want. It's kind of ridiculous. I played t-ball when I was very young, and I spent most of the time just kind of wandering around picking flowers. I don't think I got cut from the team because they don't let you cut kids at that age, but it was pretty clear I wasn't like super into it. So
it's the dandelions. You have to pick them up and blow them into the sky.
Yeah, exactly. I don't read too much into that, but that was basically what I was up to. It didn't hit a lot of home runs.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, that's great. So for everyone that doesn't know how this podcast works, we are going to ask our guest Scott 3 questions. Scott, you will have up to 1 minute to answer each one.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
So, can you describe your job position and its daily tasks on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so the short answer is like, it depends on the day. During session, which is happening right now, things are absolutely crazy. During the summer and the fall, things are a little bit less crazy. So I'm going to take a session day because that's what I'm doing now. And frankly, that's like way more interesting for your podcast. So I'm just actually going to run through like my day yesterday. And this is not representative of the work I do all year, because again, sometimes it's crazy busy. So I started with, I had coffee and read to my son. That's very important. Read the morning political news. I got an email from a senator that I've been working on that just announced that he's going to introduce a bill that I've been working on for about 6 weeks now. So that was very exciting. So
and what's that bill?
That bill deals with repealing or making voluntary the auto photo inspection requirement. So I'm sure our agent folks are super familiar with the Carco inspection. That bill makes them essentially voluntary at the carrier's discretion.
Absolutely. I mean, as of everyone watching, because everyone's had that chance of getting a new car, and if it's 7 years or newer, you have to go to get that photo inspection.
Yep. Yeah, we just had a bunch of virtual meetings with our lawmakers and Big I agents a couple weeks ago. This was a key issue. I've been like I said, I've been spending like 6 or 7 weeks now trying to get this bill in. So it was introduced. So of course I had to call a bunch of folks, send a bunch of emails, did a grassroots mass email to all of our members, letting them know what the bill was in, asking them to email their senators in support of the bill. And then we had 2 new regulations that were proposed. So I had to review those and see if there's anything interesting or relevant or important to our members that affects independent agents. Good news is there wasn't really. I had a phone call with my lobbyist just to check in on what's going on, because it is state budget session and there's some policy issues that are of concern. I had 2 calls with 2 of our members talking about various political issues, a little bit of gossip about who's going to be the next governor and who might not. I had a call with a trade association lobbyist on the photo inspection bill. I went to a fundraiser in the evening for the chair of the House Foreign Relations Committee, Congressman Meeks, as a guest of one of our members who's pretty politically active. That was super cool. I briefed our CEO and another one of our members to attend a fundraiser for an unnamed high-level political person. I'm not going to dive too much into details, but briefed them to attend a fundraiser on that. And I talked to our law firm about an ongoing legal challenge we have against a life insurance regulation called the Best Interest Standard Regulation. And that's a very burdensome and challenging regulation for anybody that does life and annuities work. We're actually suing the state over it. We just had our case heard in the appellate court, and I was talking to our lawyers about the possibility of appealing it even higher if we need to.
That's awesome. What helped you grow your career?
I mean, the short answer is relationships. It's lobbying and insurance are very, very similar in that, who is extremely important. So yeah, that's basically it, is figure out who you need to know and know them, be helpful, be useful, lift others up. I found that extremely important in my career. People really remember when you help them, right? Let's all help each other.
Yeah.
It's very similar in business as well. So, help people, empower them, uplift them. They'll remember that, return the favor.
Yeah.
Great. So question number 3, what attracted you the most to consider a job in the insurance industry?
I kind of fell into it, and it's interesting. I've talked to so many agents in the course of my work here at the Big I, and I see a lot of similarities between their stories. How did you get into insurance? And how did I get into insurance? And that story is I basically kind of fell into it. I didn't really have any, I think, inkling when I first started my career that I wanted to be in insurance. As I kind of worked around it and got to learn it a little bit, I realized this is really interesting. And I know people, your audience is insurance agents, so they'll understand, certainly. Insurance is extremely interesting. It's fascinating. And then the other piece of it is it's extremely important, right? It's part of everything we do. You look at everything that happens in society, and so much of it would never work without insurance. And so it's important, and it's interesting, and it's a daily challenge, and great people work here. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I really love it.
No, you're right. I mean, insurance is definitely important. I mean, your biggest purchase in your life is a home, and guess what? You're not leaving the closing table without a binder. And your second biggest purchase, a vehicle, you're not leaving the dealership without ID cards. So, I mean, you're definitely right about that. Everyone needs it. That does conclude our episode for this week. Thank you, everyone, for watching the 3.2.1 Insurance podcast. Don't forget to join us next week, and we're going to have a awesome week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.